ticket, you found or figured a way to address issues like bulk buying by individuals and resale of tickets, which could be one of the ways that actually help perpetrate these criminal elements. And I don't know if the two members of either club can answer this. Any discussion among perhaps the two clubs in addressing or identifying misbehaving fans at stadiums and perhaps finding a way to bar them from entering match venues and all of that, sort of how they do it in the UK, maybe to try and identify them and charge them criminally, because you've recently both been ordered to find ways to address that on your respective websites. I don't know if there's any discussions around that, but firstly, that one of bulk buying, that could be an issue as well.
It was definitely a discussion with open tickets, with the clubs involved, and we're currently working on the number that we're going to allow an individual to buy. Currently the discussion is it's limited to 10 tickets, and it might differ from fixture to fixture. For derby it might even be 5 or 2. So the system is flexible to accommodate a prevention of bulk buying. You can't, obviously, if there's 10 people and you've got 10 each, and if 10 in a syndicate buys 10, you still be able to do so, but an individual won't be able to buy more than the system caps it at. Before I give to Vina and Tandi on the club's perspective on identifying people, we were also in discussions from a venue perspective. I've alluded to the counting system that we've got at the turnstiles. This system also provides for you to load images and photos of perpetrators at the turnstile, and it will identify that individual with an alarm sounding, and you can prevent those people from entering the venue. And I know the clubs are considering that, but that's an option that the venue has to the availability now since 2 weeks ago.
Benji, thank you very much, and also Bertie for the explanation. Us as a club, we're not accredited to barring people from entering venues. That is the security job as well as the VOC commander's area of work. But our mandate is primarily on education and working closely and collaborating with our supporters through their structures. The work that we do, every day we work with our supporters, but mainly organized is through the off seasons and through gaps in the season. We do go around road shows to provinces to engage our supporters, to remind them of some of the issues that you raised, including misbehavior. And at the stadiums themselves, we have run campaigns of misbehavior or hooliganism and stuff like that. So we continue that in collaboration with the stadium and our partners on an ongoing basis. So the question that we have to ask now, as have been identified, is that this has become now a national problem. It's no longer a matter of football or stadium. So we need to create a psyche and an environment in the society of collegiality, as well as people coexisting and enjoying. Entertainment for the people is to make them happy. Hence we have come up with these family zones, as well as part of enhancing and supporting the security cluster. At our games we've got security marshals. These are meant by supporters themselves, who we believe that if you engage supporters to engage supporters, it's extra measure that can assist to alleviate some of these security problems.
Thank you, Bertie. Thank you, Vina. Yeah, very good question, Benjamin. I think first and foremost we need to understand that what's happening in other countries, in the EPL for instance, does not necessarily apply to us as a country, because we're a different country with different laws that govern what we do. And there's a number of acts or rules in place that govern sports in South Africa and how we go about preparing and executing for those events. I'm sure you'd be well aware of SESRIA Act 2 of 2010, and that is why you had members of the VOC here earlier on. Those are that authorizes SAPS to be the body that's in charge when we have events. So that already speaks to the legal implications around sports and organization of events. We also have the Constitution. We have Section 2 Bill of Rights is enshrined in the Bill of Rights is enshrined in Section 2 of our Constitution, and amongst the rights that are there, obviously understanding that we have a different history that we're operating from as South Africa, there is freedom of association, freedom of movement, and an end. So as a club, we have to be very careful that we do not disrespect, we are not seen to undermine any of the rules that are in place. As a football club, we are also a member of the Premier Soccer League, and there is a compliance manual that governs how we operate as clubs. So there is a set of rules that will dictate what we can and what we cannot do. And to echo Vina's point, as clubs, we are not security companies. We do not execute security duties. We will never have a club security, and I know that's always a mistake that, or perhaps lack of understanding, that there's an assumption that the clubs have security. We don't. We hire service providers who are professionals and who are qualified to deal with issues of security. So as far as misbehavior in the stadium, if there's any elements of misbehaving that need to be dealt with, they'll be dealt with the properly qualified people from the VOC that is in charge, the venue operational command that is in charge on the day, filtering down to the different security service providers. What we have done to educate our people, or to try and stem the element of misbehaving in the stadiums, I'm sure you will agree that both clubs have had such issues in the past. But what you'll also agree to as well is that those incidences are far and few in between. And the reason why they are far and few in between is because there is a concentrated effort to educate our respective fan bases. What we've done as Orlando Pirates Football Club, over and above using our supporter structures, over and above educating our fans in terms of stadium etiquette, how to behave at the stadium, what is expected of you, even educating them on prohibited items, what you can and cannot bring to the stadium, to avoid any unforeseen problems. We have used our social media platforms, because obviously you can see over the years, in the past 5-10 years, how social media has grown. So we've used that as an added tool to educate our fan base. That is why you'll see, even prior to the derby, we had a video along with key messaging that was sent to the fans, but we had a video which shows you when you go to the stadium, starting with purchasing a valid ticket, showing you where to park, showing you how to access the respective stand that you're supposed to be seated upon, how to behave at the stadium, what is allowed, what isn't allowed, what is expected of you as a fan. All of these things, and it's an animation and it looks cool, but over and above that, it serves a vital purpose of educating our fans. Not only do we do that on our platforms, but even during the match at the stadiums, we use the big screens. I think both teams are fortunate to have stadiums, state-of-the-art stadium, to play in state-of-the-art stadiums which have big screens, LED boards, and all these other tools that we can use to educate. Because education doesn't just start with prior to the event and ends when people go to the event. Even at the event, we believe as a club that it's a continuous effort. Every opportunity we have to educate, every opportunity we have to show the fans, there will always be rogue elements, and we are not sitting here dealing with or trying to address a problem of fan misbehavior, general fan misbehavior. No, we are talking to a few rogue elements that as clubs we've identified, and as clubs we're working towards educating, more than anything else, educating. And in terms of enforcement beyond that, we have the appropriate entities via the CESRIA, via the PSL compliance manual that will deal and are empowered to deal with those issues at the stadium.
Okay, I always wanted to say this. With a show of hands, please identify yourself and the media house you're working for.
Colin Hans from Jersey Captions and Jersey FM. Any big event has a tendency of attracting faceless people or rogue elements or maybe scammers. And talking from experience, we know for the fact that maybe open tickets may be given the benefit of the doubt because you still have to test them, but the traditional tickets like your other outlets, that's where we see lots and lots of people. But there's a lot of ifs and buts. I mean, I'll give the big if. If a fraudulent ticket makes its way through and slips through the cracks, then the original ticket comes in. What intervention is going to be taken? Because original comes second, the first one got through.
The answer to that, and maybe I'm oversimplifying it, but if the scanning system is fully functional, there's only one barcode that can scan. So if somebody slips in with a fake ticket and the original ticket holder, that barcode will only scan with the original ticket owner. So it will scan fraudulent, or it will scan non-accessible for the first one. If the legitimate ticket owner is second, it will scan. It will not scan the first one. It will only scan the original one, and that is one of the features that we worked tirelessly on, or that we worked tirelessly on. Open Ticket worked tirelessly on, and again, it's some of the information on the barcodes that we don't want to disclose, but you won't be able to scan one barcode twice. That I can assure you.
Would you say if it slips through, it's a human element?
That's what a lot of in the past, what happened is a human element, and as I said in the very start, scanning issues, scanners sometimes not working offline. Secondly, human error with the scanning staff, and then thirdly, errors or human error and malafides with security personnel as well. Having said that, we also need to take into account if it's a derby and it's 15 minutes before kickoff and the queue is 500 deep, and the people start pushing and shoving, it's difficult for the scanning and security personnel to deal with that. And that is where there's close cooperation between the clubs, our security planning, and Open Tickets. You'll see a change in that system going forward as well. And remember, I highlighted that soft scanning point. That was nonsensical later on with 46,000 people, because the security guard was just standing there. There was no way to identify whether that is a fake ticket on face value. So yeah, there's definitely going to be measures in place. Colin and I, I'm not sitting here and promising on behalf of Stadium, the clubs and Open Ticket that there's not going to be any problems. For sure we're going to have teething problems, but we need to work through that and to ensure that we enhance and improve with every single fixture.
What are or are going to be consequences of oversubscribing the previous derby, and why is stadium management still the right entity to sort of manage this game? I mean, in 2017, 2 people lost their lives in a stampede, and now in a game on numerous occasions people have lost their lives. there are more than thousands extra people in the stadium?
Thank you for that difficult one. First of all, the oversubscribing. Nowhere was there more tickets sold than there was no oversubscription. There were 86,870 tickets available, and that was what was sold. As I said in my introduction, we were confronted with a massive amount of fake tickets. And I think what contributed to that, not I think, I know what contributed to that, is the 2 weeks prior to the fixture that the derby was sold out. And it allowed for the syndicates with an easy system to make fake tickets and to produce fake tickets. It allowed that we were confronted at the gate with a lot of fake tickets. And I would like to, at this point, also, and people will say, but you're ridiculous in saying this, I would like to compliment both clubs and the VOC on that event day in managing that situation. It's unfortunate that there were people left outside with original tickets, but that was from a safety and security perspective. To manage the situation in the way they did without any incident of injury or further harm on that day deserves recognition. It's not a qualification, it was wrong, and that's why we're sitting here and making alternative arrangements. On your point, whether stadium management still deserves to manage the derby, I'm not, obviously, I am of the opinion that we are. We manage a lot of events throughout the year. We recently managed 5 full capacity events in 1 month from November. I'm lying in 2 months, from 1 November, from 30 November up until the 1st of February. But you're entitled to your opinion on that, and the clubs surely is entitled to decide that they're not going to appoint us to manage if they feel that we cannot do that. What I always say is I'm not a person running away from responsibility and accountability, and where we had fault, we admit it, and we work towards a solution, and that is why we're sitting here today implementing these new measures.
So my question was, what are the consequences?
For oversubscribing,
It's what
if you oversubscribe, it's a criminal act. And my answer to that was if there were no oversubscription. The stadium safe capacity is 87,634, and there were just, with seat kills, call me a liar, 86,800 tickets on sale, and that's the only tickets that were sold. So there were no oversubscription.
Maybe English is my problem. It's second language. What are the consequences of letting in more people than the stadium can accommodate?
Okay, so you're not referring to oversubscription of tickets,
Yeah.
allowing more people inside the venue than. That was a decision taken by the venue operating centre on the day. Remember, they take a decision on safety and security of patrons. And at that point in time, where they allowed more people inside, the VOC, and that's a collective of all the event safety and security planning committee members, made a decision to up to a certain point, and there's consultation with various people in this process. Then there's a decision taken to close the gates. There's various factors to weigh up when making that decision. And that's only my subjective opinion. On the event day, I feel that the VOC made the decision at the correct time. And the fact that there were no incidents is testimony to that. Apologies for misunderstanding. Yes, me?
Yeah. Good morning everyone. My name is Nick Pele. I'm from Ebony Chosen. Can you elaborate further? Because you mentioned that you expect fans and supporters to report any nefarious acts. So can you elaborate when and how do they report it? Do you have a hotline number? Thank you.
Just after this meeting, and there's still a bit of work to do, so hopefully within an hour, all these information will be available on the club's website, Open Tickets website, the stadium management website, and both clubs. There will also be an infographic on how to purchase the tickets on all these platforms, and there will be a helpline where you can report any issues. I know there's currently the stadium management also the complainant in 2 matters that we reported to SAPS after the recent derby, with people that provided us with information on fake ticket selling that's currently under investigation by the South African Police Services. But important, what I want to emphasize even more is fans now know what is the platforms where you can purchase your tickets. If you buy it at any other source, in all probability it's going to be a fake ticket, and you're not in any event allowed to buy a ticket from a third party in terms of the act. You can only buy it from the official channels. So please assist us in that by only buying your tickets there. Velile?
Velile from the CDC. My question is for the 2 clubs. I know that you have no control over your away matches, but you agree with me that your away matches are always in the spotlight, because that's probably the only time most of these clubs get to have sold out venues. And I think, especially for Chiefs, I saw yesterday we were talking about the issue of limit of ticket sales, the ticket sales that went out for the game this coming weekend, and I see lots of till slips there. What do you think this message is going to send now to other clubs? Because we see this happening all the time, and also the vulnerability of that till slip. So, because if something happens, God forbid nothing happens, in as much as you don't have no control, but you will also be held accountable.
Yeah, thanks Velile for that question, and also the previous question that is very key, asking Bertie about the consequences and stuff like that. Just want to confirm that as Kaizer Chiefs Football Club, we endeavor to partner, with partners that are able and are capable, to carry out their mandate. And then in this case, I can rest assured the public as well as our supporters that stadium management is proven beyond reasonable doubt that they are worthy partners, and working with stadium management on a daily basis has proven their dedication and commitment to excellence and providing quality service. So it is just interesting that the matter that you're raising, to indicate your point, is that opening up the gate on that match that led to what looked like oversubscription was a safety measure. You don't open that gate, you lead to the consequences that you alluded to, of people dying and pushing and crashing at the gate. And going to Velile on the issue of the tear slips and as well as away matches and stuff like that. This is what we're grappling with, and we're trying to address it with the authorities and the mother body. In terms of the market share itself, is indicated that we dominant, and wherever we go, it's our home. And we find ourselves with hands tied by virtue of home and away principle of responsibility. And you might have seen in the days when you can take one game as an example, the famous TN8 match we played in Stellenbosch, where we were fined as a team, as a club rather, whereas we were not the hosting team, we were not the home team, we were not responsible for organizing the match. So since then, we've been working around the clock to address the issue of us visiting other teams and the amount of work that we put behind ensuring that we prepare and ensure safety of our supporters. Just one measure as indication in closing on this part is that our head of security have been deployed to all the away matches to form part of the ESSPC planning of matches, and we try and endeavor always to be inside the planning of all the matches that we play. We're not only focusing on the home matches. So verily, we're trying and we are aware of the extent of the problem, and we're not sitting back. We will obviously at some point change the game.
Tony, you can go one better than beyond reasonable doubt. I think you can say beyond all doubt.
Thank you. Sure. You guys have, we checked in for, this is a serious press conference. The questions, wow. But we appreciate that, and that's why we're here. I think maybe also just for me to take this opportunity to also express, as Orlando Pirates Football Club, the continuing commitment we have towards stadium management. I think the relationship we've had has been there for quite a long time now. I think as far back as just after the World Cup, if I'm not mistaken. So that's a very long time. And during that time, we've obviously had our teething moments. We've grown together. We've experienced a lot together. There has been moments that were regrettable and quite sad, as far as passing of any of the patrons that have come through, and none of us want to see that, and that's why we take the responsibility quite seriously of preparing for these events. And when we have a match, it's not just one ESSPC meeting and we're done with it. There's quite extensive planning that goes into these events. And we look at every facet of the planning, not just how we get people, not just having, in lack of a better term, bums on the seat, but you look at how people come in. You look at how they go out, the ingress and the egress. You look at the traffic management plan. You look at the parking plan. You look at all possible scenarios that include the safety and security of the event. So yes, we've had issues in the past, but like Vina said, we'll get it right, and we are continuously working as a cluster that works on these events to improve on what we're doing. I think one thing we can commend, to answer you, Velila, one thing we can commend the league on is having taken the initiative of involving the away teams in ESSPC meetings. And we saw it started with the cup competitions, where we as the away teams, we also get invited to sit in these meetings, to be given an opportunity to give our input, because as Vina rightfully pointed out, Orlando Pirates and Kaizer Chiefs, we always have the lion's share of the support wherever we go, wherever Pirates plays. If it's away from home, it's home home away from home. So we really don't have away matches in that regard where when we would be outnumbered when we're traveling, and it's important for us to be, because we are an important stakeholder. It's important for us to be able to have an idea in terms of the planning. If we feel the planning is not okay, to be given an opportunity to give our input. We'll never undermine other teams and try to take over their planning, but just to be given an opportunity to give our input where required. So I think that's something that's happening now, and hopefully we'll get more of going forward, to be able to be part of the planning. With regards to the fans, I'm not going to comment on his example, but unfortunately, it is the law right now. It is the rules that if you're a host team, regardless of whether the fans are yours or away fans, you bear the responsibility of organizing the event. You bear the responsibility of the safety and security of the event. And we are hoping that there will be a gradual move from that to change, to say if you can visibly see that as a host club, yes, we're the host club, but the fans are wearing regalia of a different club, then we shouldn't really be held accountable when on the face of it, and when you follow up and you check, you'll see that all the steps for preparing for the event, a safe and secure event, have been done. So yeah, it's an ongoing process, and I think the PSL compliance has done a lot in ensuring that it evens the playing field, so that even with the clubs that are not used to having a large fan base, there is the same set of rules that they can refer to in terms of preparing for the event. And just maybe lastly, as a club, we are, I think we should also, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Bucks faithful, the Orlando Pirates fans, for believing in the club. We are what we are because of our fan base. We are able to make every away game a home match for us because of their unwavering support, of their continuous support, and of their fierce loyalty to the brand. So thank you very much, and we're looking forward to seeing you in the next game. And I hope that we trust that when we get there, we will continue with behaving at the stadium. But guys, I'm just gonna go off topic a bit and show you this. There was a question, I think, that came from back there somewhere regarding how we're going to communicate, having a hotline and all these other things. So we did say that we're working tirelessly in terms of just ensuring that the comms are ready and are ready to go and educate our fan base. So we'll show you just what's going to be in terms of educating our support band, our fan base as Orlando Pirates. On our website, you also see this where we educate our people. I recently saw in a post-match interview with the coach holding a cell phone, so I'm a bit reluctant to put up my cell phone. But just to outline, so we've narrowed down the application system to or the ticket purchasing system to 6 easy steps, and I'll quickly take you through them. So firstly, buying your ticket via WhatsApp. You can send a message to Open Ticket, and once you've done that, your plus 2710 number. That's quite a long digit, so we'll share that with you. But the key points that I wanted to share with you: Open Tickets will reply with a quick response, button for each available game. Tap the button for the game that you want. That's step 1. Step 2, Open Tickets will display ticket options. Tap the button for your preferred ticket type. Step 3, enter the number of tickets that you want. Step 4, Open Ticket will reserve your tickets and send a payment link. Pay using Capitec Pay, Zapper, One Voucher, credit card or debit card. Step 5. Once payment is processed, you'll receive confirmation via WhatsApp. And the 6th and final step, your ticket will be sent to WhatsApp before the game. Before the game. Obviously, I think also there was a question earlier about safety features. The ticket will not be sent immediately. So, for instance, if you buy the ticket now for Orlando Pirates versus Mamelodi Sundowns, the ticket will not show the barcode at this exact moment, but closer to, and that's a safety feature. It will be blurred, and then closer to the event, closer to kickoff on match day, your barcode will be visible, and that's another measure that's been taken to ensure that we limit fraudulent tickets, we limit people's barcodes being processed and coming into the stadium earlier than anticipated by the owner. Thank you.
Thank you. I think that's enough for today. Thank you for your attendance. Thank you for keep holding us accountable. And thank you for your assistance as always.
And let us get excited. Everybody, I am asking you for cheering this one. Let's give a round of applause to Bertie. Thank you very much, Bertie.
Thanks, guys.
Hold on, Bertie.